Now, I know that game week 14 isn't even over yet, but that doesn't stop me recommending some players for you guys. So here are players to buy and avoid for game week 15. I'm going to start off then by talking about a player that didn't actually return in game week 14, but that doesn't actually put me off him as an option. I think Saliba is emerging as one of the best defenders in FPL. As we all know, Arsenal are emerging as the best defence in the Premier League at the moment this season. I also think he's just the only Arsenal defender that you can consider nailed. You know, the likes of Gabriel, Zinchenko, Ben White and Tomiyasu. We've all seen them being rotated, whereas Saliba, he's played every game, looked really solid, to be honest. I think he's literally one of the best defenders in the world, right? So his place is nailed in that Arsenal team. He's got a couple of attacking returns for his 14 games, 6 clean sheets. I don't think you can ask for much more, really. And with Luton, Villa, Brighton coming up, those are games where he could all reasonably keep a clean sheet in. I really like him as an option. Anthony Gordon, he did unfortunately pick up a hip injury in the game against Man United, so he is one to monitor before game week 15, but I can't make a video talking about players to buy and not include him. He is in fantastic form, and to be honest, across the whole season, he's been brilliant. Clearly the first choice left winger in that Newcastle team. I think of all the 6 million in below mids, he's definitely the best at the moment. I think Eddie Howe really likes the fact that he works well defensively as well. Of course, just watch for the injury. We'll get news, I'm sure, before game week 15 on that. And I would say as well, if you bring him in and he doesn't return against Everton, please don't just immediately sell him. I think he's a player that you just need to be patient with, right? He's he's 6 million, right? So you can't expect the world from him. Just a point, really, I'd want to make. But yeah, I mean, 11 returns from 12 starts so far. You can't go wrong. Next up then, we've got Bukayo Saka. I'm quite pleased with my recommendation for him, really. I've said over the last few weeks, I've had him in all of these videos in the last few weeks, and I've said in each of them, he is a player that's going to reward patience, and that's exactly what he did. He scored in game week 14. He got a couple of assists in the 2 game weeks beforehand, so I don't really know what more you can ask from him, to be honest. He's just such a solid pick, even when he does seem to be a bit of an injury doubt, and the game seems to be escaping Arsenal. He's the one that pops up and gets that key goal or assist, as we've seen in the last few game weeks. He's just clearly their talisman and best player. He's not going to take all their penalties, but he is the designated penalty taker. So when he decides not to give them away, of course, he's going to score some of them this season. And he's just absolutely nailed in that right wing position. He's going to play every game for Arsenal this season in that position, because there's just no competition for that spot. Luton, Villa, Brighton, even Liverpool away, he could score in all of those games. And to be honest, I think even at 8.8 million, he's slightly underpriced for the upside that he brings. Now, I wondered if you could do me a favour. If you're enjoying the video so far, please make sure to leave a like rating, subscribe to the channel as well, set the notification bell so you can see when I upload next. If you're really enjoying the video, please consider joining as a channel member. You'll get early access to all of my videos, and when I deadline stream, I'll give you priority when I rate people's teams in draft. And you can also, if you want to support the channel in a different way, check out my shop down below. You can buy yourself a golden goal sticker or a mug. All right, back to the video. Branthwaite, right? I'm not going to say he is an absolute game breaker or anything, but with Botman looking set to come back soon, I've talked about Lascelles in previous videos. However, I'm starting to think Lascelles might be a bit less of an option now. And of all the dirt cheap defenders you can go for, I'm really liking Branthwaite at the moment as the best option. And obviously the point is with a defender at this price, right? You don't have to start him every week. So he's got Newcastle and Chelsea in his next 2. He's just always a good bench option, even for those fixtures, right? And I do think Everton have turned a bit of a corner, both defensively and going forwards under Sean Dyche. So he's definitely looking like a sure starter for Everton. And I think at that price, he's probably the best of all the options. For me personally, I'd consider, if I needed to start him, Chelsea at home and Burnley away are a couple of games you can consider starting him. Even Spurs away, to be honest, with how they're playing at the moment. But yeah, obviously at that price, you're not going to expect to start him every week. I just think he is the best now at that sort of 4 million price category. I wanted to talk, of course, about Bryant and Boomer. I imagine that most people that are watching this video have already bought him now, but he is just such a fantastic option. He probably disappointed managers that bought him for game week 14, only getting an assist against Luton, right? But he's still a fantastic option. Brighton, his next fixture, they've not kept a clean sheet all season. Sheffield United, well, we know how bad they are. They just got beaten 5-0 by Burnley. And then Villa at home. Villa definitely not looking amazing defensively. So 3 really nice fixtures where he could get some returns in. Game week 18, he does, of course, blank. So if you buy him, you need a plan to deal with that. Really, I'm just going to bench him and play with someone on my bench, to be honest. And then he could well double in game week 20. I think really that needs to be confirmed this week to be, you know, absolutely set in stone. Otherwise, it probably won't happen. But it's still looking sort of 50-50 that will happen. And then he'll have double in 20 against Man City and Palace. But, you know, 10 returns, 14 starts. He's 7 million. Great option. David Raya's the next player I wanted to talk about. It's sort of in the same whim as Saliba, really. But for me, he's just my long-term goalkeeper pick in FPL, really. I think regardless of the fixture, you know, we've seen Arsenal emerging as the best defence in the league at the moment. 4.9 million, so he doesn't quite, well, I don't think he quite makes like the premium bracket of goalkeepers. You know, the likes of Alisson and Ederson, priced at 5.5 because obviously they're teams that are really strong defensively. I think Raya's, they've sort of missed a trick with his pricing. Obviously, he was priced up as a Brentford player still. So, yeah, I just really like him. I'd say the fixture run is decent. It's not amazing. Obviously, that Liverpool away fixture, you probably wouldn't back a clean sheet in that one. But I imagine most FPL players have a starting goalkeeper on their bench. So could well go with him instead of Raya in that case. I just think, yeah, it's a fantastic fixture run. He's conceded 7 goals from 9 starts, kept 4 clean sheets, saves numbers. They're obviously down on what he did at Brentford because Arsenal keep more possession and, yeah, the other teams don't get as many shots off. But the clean sheets he's kept so far, I think, prove that Arsenal are a really good defence and that he is a really good option. Next up, I just wanted to talk about a couple players to avoid. And these are 2 players that haven't even played at the time that I'm recording this video. But Areola as a goalkeeper, I just don't like him. I've got to say, I know he's super cheap. I think he's 4.3 million now. Super duper cheap, but I just think you can get better options for that. Well, I don't think money's an issue number 1 for players in FPL at the moment. I think most people are sitting on quite a bit in the bank at the moment, so you don't have to skimp and save on a goalkeeper. Obviously, already spoken about David Raya. He would be my ideal replacement for Areola, to be honest. But yeah, West Ham, in their 13 games so far, have kept just 1 clean sheet, and in some games, Areola's got minus points for conceding too many goals. So yeah, I just think you can do much better than Areola, and I would, before even seeing him playing in game week 13, I'd consider selling him for 14. Another player that hasn't actually played yet, Matty Cash. I just think regardless of what happens in that Bournemouth game, I mean, with the news we've got at the moment, he's not even expected to start, right? He's been disappointing in recent games. Villa have obviously had a sensational fixture run up until this point, but he's just not done the business, really. He's got a good level of attacking returns, but unfortunately that was before most FPL managers even hopped on him. And then in game week 15 and 16, he's got Man City and Arsenal. I just don't see where the points are going to come from in those games. And to be honest, based on what we've seen from him at right mid, I don't think he's going to play in both of those games. Even if he does start in game week 14, I think there's question marks as to whether he plays in 15 and 16 in those fixtures, to be honest. And yeah, but just how Villa are playing defensively, they seem to be conceding goals every game. I just don't like him. All right, and that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please leave me a like rating. Subscribe to the Golden Goal channel, which should be just there, and let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of those picks I've made. I'll be interested to hear it. I'll catch you in my next video.